That this time of year, although, a lot of people celebrate at the end of the year, particularly tomorrow night, with great festivity and celebration and a little bit of craziness that I never have really understood. I always thought, what are these people so giddy about? But I prefer to start the new year with quiet contemplation and looking back over this last year. And as I said earlier, think about what was it last January 1 that I wanted to have happen this year, and how far have I come in that? And if there's been any progress at all, that's a win. That's yay. Yay, I wanted to experience something or do something or grow something or have something happen. And it usually hasn't all come true the way I would like it to and be a fate accompli. It's not all done, but if there's progress, yay, good. That means it's working. That means this thing of using your mind to plant a seed, and it grows. It may not grow as fast as you want, it may not be a complete garden, but if it's growing, if it's on its way, it's working. You're working it. You're working the principle of creating your life. We teach and we believe that our thoughts are things, they're creative energy, and that this is the way the universe creates. This is the way God creates. The Bible explains it when it says in the beginning, God said, let there be light, and there was light. So this idea of let there be is a way of saying, I want to see this come into fruition. I want to see it come into creation, and it's a seed idea. And so what we do is we use our mind to create the mold. And that's just envisioning the idea, envisioning what we want to see ourselves doing it, see it happening, see ourselves enjoying it, see the experience of it. That creates the mold. And we don't have to do that 24/7. You can do it once. You can do it once, but it's better if you did it once a day. And you've created the mold, and then you don't do anything else. Oh, you do move your feet in the direction of that, of course, but it's not like we have to make it happen. It's like the universe makes it happen. It's the way the universe works. Someone asked me this week, called me for spiritual mind treatment for health. And they asked, how long does it take you to do a treatment? And I said, about 5 minutes. And I think there was a little surprise because healing should take a long time, right? And no, it only takes 5 minutes because all I do is create the mold. All I do is see in my mind's eye and say, that this body is working perfectly. I don't know how to make the body work perfectly, but I create the mold and let the universe be the answer to that. And so, it's not working hard, it's working smart. And we let the universe co-create with us. Or we co-create with it, actually. Co meaning with. So we're participating with how the universe creates. And as a matter of fact, if you spend a lot of time efforting, you're doing it wrong. Have you ever heard the saying, my minister used to have a picture over her desk that said, you never hear a carrot grunt. It's not supposed to be effortful. The creating of the mold is easy and pleasant and joyous, and you just smilingly let it be then. You just let it be. You release it. You actually release it and don't worry about it. Now we do move our feet in the direction. You do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And with our health, we do want to be eating the right way and exercising the right way and doing all we can to create our ideal health. But it's like the main part is the creation with the mind, with the creating of the idea. So I was reading a book this week. One of our participants here, and they're not here today, are Bill and Elizabeth Arrett. Bill is the one that comes in with a walker, And they are retired ministers, and they have written a book. Elizabeth actually wrote a book, actually with her ex-husband, called A Shortcut to a Miracle. She said it was a miracle that she could create a book with her ex-husband. But it's called A Shortcut to a Miracle, and I was reading it because the past few days, because I think we're going to actually teach it as a course in February. And I'm hoping we can do it in one of the clubhouses in this area. We haven't got that worked out yet. I'll have to let you know later. But in it, she has a wonderful chapter on quantum physics. Now, I've looked into and tried to understand quantum physics for years, and I've gotten some of the concepts, but I really didn't have it connected to our teaching until I read her chapter. And I really was able to do it, so it's a great contribution. And you know, what they say, what she says, and what she's quoting all the physicists, but that, you know, when electricity goes through a wire, it is electrons moving through that wire, but outside that insulated wire, it creates a field. You know, there are fields everywhere. So just the movement of the electrons creates fields. Well, your thought is like that. Your thought that you have is a vibrating energy. And in the book that we're studying in the class we're teaching now, Mind to Matter, he even breaks those down into the four main, alpha, beta, delta, gamma waves that we have. Those are all frequencies. Well, they're measurable, you know, and they actually go out into a field. And when that happens, something else happens. You know, that the ideas that was a thought becomes a thing. It becomes a vibration, and it corresponds and attracts like a vibration from the universe. And that's how the thought becomes a thing. It takes form. One of the first metaphysical books I read, and you may have read it 2 years ago, was a Seth book called Seth Speaks. And in that, it was
Nature of Personal Reality.
The Nature of Personal Reality that Seth dictated. And in that book, he was describing the creation process that started with thought, and he said that creates EE units. EE units he called electromagnetic energy units. So we haven't gotten there to the point that we have identified those units. But that's not surprising, because units we know, and we know subatomic particles are sometimes measured as a wave and sometimes as a particle. So it depends on how you measure them and what you're expecting to find. So this comes back to our teaching too. Why, and physicists say, if this is true on the subatomic level, it has to be true for the whole universe. That what the experimenters expect to find is how these subatomic particles behave. And if they change the experiment and are looking for something else, they come up with that result. It's like the particles know what the experimenter wants and expects, and they give it to them. Well, that's what we're talking about with this thing that we call the law of mind. And that's how we create our lives, by expecting certain things, and guess what? They show up. It's not magic. It seems magic when it happens, especially when something happens fast, but it's not magic. It is all happening by way of physics, by way of particles and vibrations. So our job, should you choose to accept it, is to use that consciously, purposefully, instead of, on the other hand, being a victim of whatever happens to you in your life. Then you're a victim of circumstance, and you can point to the things that happen that you're unhappy with, but it will keep you victim. Or you can choose not to be victim and stand up and say, I choose this instead. I expect that instead. And watch and see when that happens. I've told you the story before, but I'm going to tell it again because it's winter, and it's a great example. When I was first learning this in the 70s, my family went on a ski trip and we joined another family. We went to Lake Tahoe. My boys were in Sunday school, so they knew this teaching also. And so one of the children of the other family, we're all staying in one house in Lake Tahoe, and one of the kids came down with the flu. And the parent of the other family said, "Oh no, now we'll all come down with the flu." And I said, I'm not coming down with the flu. And my boy said, "We're not getting it." And so, we enjoyed the whole week skiing, and everybody else in the house, including my ex-husband, he was the present husband at the time, who didn't believe in any of this stuff, they all got the flu. But they were also expecting the flu, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
We know it's contagious, and we know the facts, it's contagious, but look how powerful expectation is. Look how different it can be. Now, I can't say that I've been able to make this work in all areas of my life. I haven't. There are challenges, particularly for me, it's been in center growth and prosperity. I've been able to grow the numbers, but it never has been as prosperous as I wanted it to be. And that may just be that that's not in the cards for me. Or it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. I don't let it bother me, frankly. Those why questions I find unhelpful. And I just keep seeing the vision, seeing the goal. I don't know how many people we have here today, but my goal for this year was to double our attendance. And I do see that happening. I see we can easily achieve that in this season. And I anticipate that each of you will help us with that and show up and bring guests as you have, and that's great. Because this is a teaching that helps people. It's not just a place to go to feel better for an hour. This is a place that gives you tools for really transforming your life, changing it over so that you are more empowered, you are more positive. You can be a beacon of light for everybody else. Now, another great time to do this is when you are falling asleep at night. Because I don't know about you, but I try to solve all the problems of the world as I'm going to sleep. I think about what are the problems, what can I do to help, what can I do to make this better. And so that's a good time for me to remind myself to flip it over, to turn it over, and just imagine the very best situation, the very best outcome. And then I create that mold. So I visualize the behavior, the outcome, the whatever, in its perfection. And then I enjoy the feeling of that. I enjoy the feeling of the perfection and the manifestation. And that is a great way to go to sleep. That is a great way to have happy dreams. So right now, I would like for us to do a little process. A process is participatory. I'd like to invite you to participate by going in. We're going to do a little visioning, little imagining, and use the power of your imagination. So if you're willing and if you're able, I'd like you to just close your eyes. And I would like for you to consider and think about one, maximally two areas of your life that you would like to see something different happen this next year. So identify the what first. What is it you would like to see happen? And then as you do that, I would like for you to put yourself in the picture and see yourself experiencing it. How does it feel? How does it look? What emotions are you experiencing? As you do this, you're creating the mold. And in this space of receptivity, what do you need to know for this to occur? Are there any skills you need to learn? Are there any things you need to do? Just allow the ideas to come to you in the quiet contemplation of it. Are there any beliefs and limitation that you need to give up? Is there any past history that you need to let go of and just say, that's the past, that's not the present, and it's not the future? Let go of any ideas of perhaps not being good enough, not being qualified enough. Let go that has not been your history. Doesn't matter. We're creating a new mold, a new field of possibility. So give thanks. Give thanks for the gift of seeing yourself, experiencing what you desire, and bring yourself back now to the room. This is not just an exercise in feeling good. It's a powerful, creative moment for you. And I'd like to end by telling a quick story that's in the Arrett's book, Shortcut to a Miracle. They tell the story of Buckminster Fuller. Do you know who he was? When I first became aware of him, he was known as one of the greatest minds on the planet. What I didn't know is that when he was 32 years old, he was standing on the shores of Lake Michigan, ready to jump in and commit suicide. I didn't know that. He had been a total financial failure. His oldest child had died 4 years before. He had no way of supporting his new baby or his wife. He thought if he killed himself, at least the family would take care of his wife and new baby. It just felt like a total failure. And in his time of contemplating, he was looking at the rocks along Lake Michigan. They have fabulous rocks up there. They have rocks that are actually fossils of old critters. I think it's very interesting. But in looking at the rocks in his quiet contemplation, he heard the words, "Your life does not belong to you. You belong to the universe," which was a new idea for him, that his life was not for him to throw away. And when he was looking at those stones, he actually got the idea and the image for the geodesic dome. That was one of his greatest contributions, is that is one of the lightest and sturdiest constructions for a lot of things. Right now they're using it, they're going to build a space station in that design. But he thought of it as inexpensive housing for all over the world. But that was just one of his many, many ideas. He went on to receive probably from the universe and contribute many ideas and became very successful. So what if you contemplated that? Your life is not yours to throw away or do whatever. Your life belongs to the universe. And you are part of the universe. You can receive ideas. When you have an idea or make this mold, this image, then you've told the universe the what, and so the ideas start coming to you. Oh, I could do this, I could do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. And you walk in that direction, and the universe, that's why we call it co-creating. The universe participates with you. And so that's what we do this end of the year. But don't forget to look back and do a little padding for what you've done, what you've wanted, what you've worked towards, and the progress you've made in that area. And so it is.
So it is.